All right, in today's class, we want to look at the introduction to traditional data center. Though we discussed briefly about this yesterday, but today we want to understand it more better. What is a data center? A lot of us, anytime you hear data center, you kind of like, oh, I don't know what this means. Maybe you have to take one certification to know what a data center is. No. Now, let me explain this to you in a layman language. And the reason why I'm explaining this is because I don't want to just jump into the cloud directly, and you won't know how we get into the cloud or what company use before cloud. So by bringing this, by talking about this gradually, I want to ease your way into cloud. So that way you are not, you won't say, oh, I don't know, or you won't miss anything along the line. You will know how we get from nowhere to where we are. So that's why I'm explaining all of this thing. So let's say you have a computer, or let's say you have a company, and the first thing that your consultant or your bank told you, because maybe they are your business advisor, they say the first thing you need to do if you want to grow in this business is to have a website. And because of that, you pay somebody to do a website for you. And once that person finishes the website is just going to be, what the person is going to give you is just a file inside, some file inside a folder. That is what they give to you. So it's now your responsibility now to know how to put the website on the internet. And for you to put that website on the internet, you're going to need what is called a server. Server is just like another computer. You can even use your laptop as a server, but the capacity of laptop is not enough for it to serve as a server, right? So you normally need a very powerful computer called server. So let's say you buy one server. This server, you can put it in your house, on a desk in your house, and you can power it on and put the file. This is file, let me call this one folders. A folder, and that is where the website that the person designed for you, because website is just some code, some line of code. If you don't know that website is just some line of code, let me show you this. My web code is just some line of code on the system, just some line of some code written, and they put them in a file. So at the end, for example, this is a website, and this folder is a website. This one here is a website. If I want to view this website now, because it's running on my system, I can just go live and it's going to display. So if I send the link to people, they can start accessing the website. I thought I opened it now. So they can start, okay, I think they open in the back end. Let me see. They can start accessing the website. But the major issue here, okay, let me open this one. Okay. I think it's actually opening, it's just that it's slow somehow. Okay, I think I have so much things on my system that I need to go. So this is a website now. This is one website that I worked in, I think like 4 years ago when I was doing web development. So now, let's assume that this is the website the person developed for me, maybe because I want to start an hotel business and the person developed a website for me. So you can see, if you go to this website now, you'll be able to click it. But this website is not accessible by you because it's not yet on the internet. is still on my laptop. So if I want it to be accessible to you, then there are some configuration that I need to do, and we make it publicly accessible. So if I click this now, the website is functioning, but I think this just the navigation bar that I was working on then. That was the project. So back to the class. You can see now that a website is just a mere folder. So now, let me go back here. Okay. So a website is just a mere folder. So now let's say this is the folder, and for me to make this website accessible by people, I need to put it on a server that can work 24 hours without me offing it. That a server can work months, years without you turning it off. But a laptop, if you leave your laptop on for more than 1 week, you will start seeing some reaction that the laptop might be slow, it might not functioning properly, you want you to reboot it. But a server, you can leave a server for years without rebooting it, and it's going to continue working fine. That is why it's called a powerful computer for hosting web application or website, or hosting anywhere or anything. So if I have one server and I put my website on one server, I can put it on a desk in my house. So because of this desk, I can call this my maybe a laptop desk or a server desk. If let's assume that the number of customers that I have, let's say this is year 1, and in year 1, I have only one server, and I put my website, this is website folder, I mean the website folder, in a server, then I put it on a desk. The total number of customers that I have in year 1, let's say, is just 1,000 customers. So the number of people that can access this website without the website going down because of the capacity of the server is just 1,000. And because it's just one server, I think that is okay. I can put that in my house. I can leave it anywhere, even in my living room, in my bedroom. I can move it anywhere. It's just one, right? So let's assume in year 2, I now have 40 or 4,000 customers. This server is not, because it's one, if 4,000 customers access this server, it might break down because the server capacity is only for 1,000 people. So if 4,000 people is accessing something that is meant for 1,000 people, it's going to break down. So because of this, I might decide to have more servers. So if I get more servers, making it 4 servers now, at least. So I can't put this 4 server on this single table, though it's possible. But one thing that I might do is that I might now shift the whole 4 server, because currently it is in my bedroom. I can say, okay, now the heat that these servers are generating is becoming too much. So I don't want them in my bedroom again. Guess what I might do? I might move all the server to another place called, I might move it, I might dedicate a room in my house and call that room a server room. So we can see how we go from server desk to server room. So now, let's say in year 3, I'm now popular. So I have almost 1 million customers. So now, okay, let me even increase it. Let's say I have 2 million customers. So now you can see how many servers we are going to need, which is not going to be 4. We're going to need a lot of servers in this case. So let's just round it up, and let's say we have almost 50 servers. Then 50 servers in my room, in one single room, is going to be held. It's because these servers, they can generate a lot of heat. And there is one concept that is in business, in every business. You always want to separate business expense away from personal expense. So maybe because of that and because of the heat that the laptops, I mean, the servers are generating, it's becoming too much for me. Then guess what I might do? I might go and rent or build a warehouse. I might go and build a warehouse. So that warehouse, I will now switch, I will now carry all the server to the warehouse or a large space. So this warehouse, where I have all these servers, is what is called data center. So you can see how we move from server desk to server room to data center. So this is the concept of data center. And what can you find in your data center apart from servers? You're going to see some storage device, which can also be called storage server. You're going to see some database, which can be called what? Database server. You will see some networking device that will connect your server to your database, to your storage server, and to your security appliances. So also other things that you're going to see, you are going to see fan. That is, I don't know, sorry, let me just say this is our fan. Although it looks like somebody, but it's fan. So you're going to see fan, heavy industrial fan that is going to blow, that is going to be blowing cool to the servers or AC. You're going to see some security device like webcam, I mean security camera. You're going to see some different things, some firewalls in your data center. So what is in data center? They are all together, working together for the organization purpose. And all of these are connected together in one way or the other. That connectivity within them is what we refer to as networking. So now, let's proceed. I'm going to clear all of this. So you can see the concept, how we get to data center. So this data center is good now because now we can separate our personal expense from our business expense. We can now have cool air inside our house. So we've moved all the servers to a server room, or I mean to a data center. So we don't have them in our house again. But guess what? There is a lot of challenges with data center. The first challenge with data center is the cost. And we call this fixed cost, or what some people refer to as upfront cost. This is the number one challenge with data center, because if you want to rent a warehouse, you have to pay ahead. And majority of people, they don't rent a warehouse for 1 year. Some people, some company will have to build it. Some will rent it for like 20 years. They are going to do a lease, because when you have a data center, it's not something you can just easily move. Maybe the landlord go outside and get drunk, then just call you, hey, move your server away from my data center tomorrow. It's not going to work like that. So you want a long lease, because it's business is continuous, right? So the major challenge that we always face with data center is the cost, the upfront cost. Then the second challenge, if you go back to my diagram the other time, you will notice one thing, that when we have a data center, this data center, because it's a warehouse, it has what we call limited capacity. Sorry, let me go back. It has what we call limited capacity. Because no matter how big the warehouse is, it has limits, right? You cannot, it's not elastic. So that is the second challenge. Because of its limited capacity, it is limited, it has limited scalability. You know, when they say something is scalable, you cannot scale it up. If you put too much server, maybe if the place is like a very I'm not really good in how they measure house. Let's just say is like maybe like 50 by 50. Oh, let's say it's just by 50 by 50. So by the time you put like 100 server there is no more space. So there is limited capacity. And guess what? If let's assume currently we are serving 2 million customers, and these 2 million customers, we are serving them with like 100 servers. We are serving them with 100 servers. So immediately we have 100 servers here, then there is no more room to put more servers. What happened? What will happen if fortunately, one celebrity just market or influence our product and our company jump from 2 million to like 10 million within a month? What's going to happen? Then we start looking for where to get more data centers. We need to get more data centers, right? What if the product we are selling is seasonal? Maybe it's only marketable, or it's at its peak during the festive period. And when there is no festive period, that means all the savers that we have will just be idle. They are not going to be doing anything, and at such we are wasting money, we are losing money, right? So that's why we don't just want to like be buying data center immediately our business is increasing, because the business that increased today might go down tomorrow. And when you buy servers, you cannot return it that I'm not using it again, because it's now yours. So they will be occupying space, and they will be occupying cost as well. I mean, incurring costs. So that is the second thing, limited capacity. It has limited scalability. The third thing is that you are going to be maintaining the server, maintenance and downtime. You going to be maintaining, server is a physical thing. It's something that you use, and everything that you use is prone to wear and tear, right? So for your server not to go down, you need to be maintaining it. If there is an issue, maybe you install a software and there is a 0-day vulnerability on the software, and the owner of the software provide a fix to that 0-day vulnerability. Guess what? You have to go to the server, you have to run the updates, and those are the maintenance that you have to be doing. I mean, you got to do every time. So those things, you have to factor in those time and the cost for them too. So the maintenance and the downtime, they are your responsibility, and they are part of the challenges that comes with the data center. Energy consumption. The data center, as I told you earlier, that it generates a lot of heat and it uses a lot of electricity. So you also have to factor in all those costs. Space requirements, you need space to run these data centers. And finally, security is the number one thing, because you have all these servers. You need to protect them, because now you know that all the servers, they are connected together, because all of them are on one network. So they are connected together one way or the other. So one thing that hackers normally do is that if they have access to one server, they will do what they call privilege escalation. They will escalate their privilege. They will try to crawl from that one server higher to or link to other servers. So if you are not taking security serious, once one server is compromised, be rest assured, if care is not taken, if urgent action is not taken, all the servers will be compromised. So that's why you have to take security serious too. And that means security is also a challenge. So these are the challenges that we have with traditional data centers. And guess what? Every company wants to reduce all of these challenges. No company like challenges, right? Or let me say no company like to lose money, because anything here is incurring cost. We incur cost for the company. Anything here, they will cost the company some money. So for companies to reduce their expense, because that's one thing company love to do, reduce expense, increase revenue. So for companies to reduce these challenges and reduce their expense, they are looking for alternative. And what is the alternative for data center? The alternative for data center is still data center. But the but now is that instead of them owning the data center, which is called owned data center, they want to switch to data center that is being owned by another person. So how is it going to work? Well, let me explain this to you. Let's say this is me, and let me see one person in class that I can use his or her name. I'm not even seeing anybody's name. What's going on? Okay, yeah. Okay, let's say this is done. Let's say this is done. Don is so rich, and he has his own company too called Don Inc. And mine is TheCornelis Inc. But I just started the business, so I don't really have more customer. But Don has a lot of customer and is already established. He has lots of servers. But guess what? He's not using all these servers because majority of the servers are bought during the holiday period when the market is booming, when there is a lot of activities, when there is spike in the industry. That's why he bought all the server. But currently, he's only using this as, I'm going to call this one active. These are the one that is active. These are this one, I'm going to call this under one inactive. So all these ones are inactive because they are bought during the festive period. But now it's not festive period. Everything has gone down. So these servers, they are just idle. They are not doing anything. But guess what? Me, I have 4 servers that is active. And he has 4 servers that is idle. So, but I'm doing the same, all of this. There are challenges to me, and there are challenges to him too. So how can we both reduce our costs? Well, we can come to an agreement like, hey, Don, since you have 4 server idle, and me, I have 4 server that I'm only using, and I'm paying for this large data center, doing all this maintenance and consuming a lot of electricity. How can we work together to reduce these challenges. So we can come to an agreement like, okay, instead of me owning my own data center, I can actually sell it off. And all my application that are on this data center, I can actually deploy them on these servers that are idle. So now, me and Don, we're going to sign an agreement that he is going to provide me access to this first server, and me, I will sell this. I don't need this again because now I'm using Don's servers. I just need to put my applications on this first server. Come on. I need to put my application. I'm going to write me here. That's the name of my company. Me. So Don, we're going to be using this. It's going to be using all of these. And me, I'll be using this. So now we have reduced the expense, right? So the challenge is only going to be on this alone. I don't have my data center, so I don't need to worry about it. All my applications are now deployed on Don's server. But I don't have to relocate to where Don is. All I just need to do is my own laptop. Let's say this is my laptop. I will use my laptop, connect my laptop to be accessing my application here. Anything I want to do on my application, I will be using my laptop to connect to this server. So Don must give me access to all of these server access, such as username for each of the server and password. So from my system, with some configuration, I can actually log in to these servers directly, and I'll be controlling, doing whatever I want to do here. This concept is what we refer to as cloud computing. That is the concept of cloud computing. So you can still see that cloud or cloud computing is still a data center, but instead of you owning that data center, it is owned by another person, just as you are using that other person data center, but you are using it what? Over the internet. So that is why cloud is, when they say cloud, it's just you are using cloud services, you are using IT services, IT resources over the internet. And we also refer to it as on-demand capacity. And the reason why it is referred to as on-demand is because I only going to say whenever I need it is when I'm going to use it. Maybe if by tomorrow, for one reason or the other, my business go down and I don't need four server again, I only need 3 server. Guess what? I will just tell them, you know what? I don't need 4 server, I only need 3. So I'm not going to be paying for those 4 again. I will just be paying for the 3. And I will only be paying for them when I need it. If my applications only run maybe Monday to Friday, and on Saturday, they don't have to run, guess what? I don't have to pay for those servers on the day that they are not running on Saturdays. So that is why they are called on demand. You only pay for what you used. And this is the concept of cloud computing. And cloud computing helps us to solve the challenges that we have with traditional data centers. Any question from here? Any question? No question? Am I communicating or am I disturbing your hearing? Temitope,
You are communicating.
okay, Temitope is sleeping. Pharaoh.
Hello?
No,
Sorry, I'm here.
you are
I
sleeping.
wasn't sleeping. No,
You
I
are
was
sleeping.
distracted by my kids. Sorry.
You are sleeping. That's it.
I
Yesterday,
can
I
hear
told you
you
that when I
loud and
called
clear.
you and you don't answer immediately, that means you
I
are
was
sleeping.
not
No,
sleeping. No,
sleep.
I was. Please, sir, what was the question?
No, I just call your name. I'm not asking any question.
Okay, sir. I
I
wasn't
just want
sleeping.
to know those that are sleeping.
No, I'm not sleeping.
Kevin. Kevin too is sleeping.
I'm not sleeping. Time to unmute. It's long.
All right. All right. But I hope you guys understand the concept of traditional data center, and you also understand the challenges that faces data centers, and you understand the concept of cloud computing. There are one of my students attend interview one day, and they asked him, what do you understand by cloud computing? And this person is trying to find dictionary definition. Is trying to look for the definition that AWS wrote in their documentation, and it was just everywhere. He recorded the video and sent it to me. I was like, why are you disturbing yourself? I always tell you guys, always use analogy whenever you are giving definition. Nobody care about your dictionary definition. So if you have explained cloud computing the way I just explained it now, you are as good as, even that is even more better than you trying to memorize the definition that AWS or Google or Azure gave as cloud computing. Cloud computing is just that you are using technology service or IT resources over the internet. That is all. So now let's proceed before we go for 5 minutes break. So now let's look at cloud computing proper. So what is cloud computing? A cloud computing is just a way of using computer services, such as like storing your data, running programming over the internet. That is exactly what I explained earlier. You use computer service or IT resources over the internet instead of owning it, or instead of on your own computer. You use them over the internet. And guess what? It lets you access what you need when you need it without owning it. You don't need the hardware. You just use it when you need it. So that is cloud computing. The IT resources that you can use over the internet include what? Servers. You can use servers over the internet. Some people are like, how is it possible to use a computer over the internet? Do you know that there are some computer now that you don't even have to, like AWS, they have some very powerful computer that with your own, just like your 8 gig laptop, you can access laptop that are using like 64 gig. And you're just going to be controlling those computers from your own. But anything, once you connect to that computer, anything you do on it, by the time you log out from that computer, you won't be able to access it on your computer. So at any time you come back, you log in to the AWS computer from your system, then you can get to where you stopped. So They call it workspace on AWS, workspace. So those computers are very, very powerful. So that is, you use computer over the internet, you use ICT resources over the internet. Apart from server, another resources that we can use over the internet is storage. You can use networking resources over the internet, database, analytical tools, and security tools. And guess what? These are all what we are going to be discussing in the cloud when we start AWS proper. All these resources, you can use them on your own data center, because if you have a data center, this is what you use. Even your normal computer, all these are on your normal computer. You can use your computer, your laptop for this. You can use it to store data, or if you don't want to use your laptop to be storing a lot of data, you can buy storage device. I think I have one here. Let me see. Yeah, this is an, I don't know if you can see. This is an example of a storage device. So all of these things, they are in the, you can use them in your data center. And guess what? Now, company has provided all of these services in form of virtual, that you can use them without owning it. If I have a lot of data that I want to store now, all I just need to do is to connect to all these people that are providing services over the internet. They are providing storage over the internet, and I will store my data there. And guess what? Anytime I need it, I will just log into their site and have access to my data. I want somebody in the class to give me an example of a storage company that you can use over the internet. It's very, very common. A storage company that you can use over the internet. Anybody? Going to
Google.
what?
Google Drive.
Somebody say Google. Wait. What is Google?
Google.
Okay, it's Google. Don't go and say Google out there or place. So
Google.
we have Google Drive. We have Google Drive. I think there's something called, is it OneDrive? Yeah, I think it's OneDrive.
Yeah, OneDrive.
Microsoft
OneDrive.
OneDrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Google Drive, you have OneDrive. So all these, they are providing services for you over the internet. They are of cloud computing. So these are what we are going to be discussing. So what if you are doing AWS cloud, GCP cloud, Azure cloud, these are what you are doing. You are just looking for, okay, what are the services that this company is providing that is used for storage, that is used for networking, that can be used for database, that can be used for analytical tools, that can be used for security tools. Those are what you are going to be dealing with. So everything you're going to be doing in the cloud is just like you being able to identify what is the service that AWS makes available for server. That if you have a server and you want to use server in the cloud, what services are you going to be using in AWS? If you want a storage and you want to use it over the cloud or over the internet, what is the service that AWS or GCP or Azure or Google, what is the service they are providing as storage over the internet? Then when you understand that this is the services that they are providing as storage or as server over the internet, then you now go deeply. Okay, how do they configure it? How do they secure it? What are the cost effects? How can I reduce my cost when I'm using this service? Those are what you're just going to be doing, and that is what somebody is going to be paying you 150,000 for. Yes. So now, these are the list of IT services that you can use on the internet. Are we still together?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I can smell fried rice. Somebody is cooking. It's just listening from far away, but it's in the kitchen. And I can know that person. If I look very well, I will know the person. But let's proceed. So the cloud computing, there are a lot of services, a lot of companies that are providing compute service over the internet. They are providing IT services over the internet. They are providing data center services over the internet. There are thousands of them, thousands. But guess what? We are not going to be dealing with the whole the whole 1,000. We are only going to let's look at the key ones, the share leaders, the market leader among them. The first one is AWS, Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Service has 31% of the share market. If you see anybody out there that are using IT services over the cloud, 31% of them are using AWS. 25% are using Azure, while 11% of them are using Google. So among these three cloud service provider, I think that is like, if my math serve me well, this is like 67% out of 100. So that means the remaining 23% are being shared by the remaining almost approximately 1,000 cloud provider. So these are the one you need to focus on. But the only person, the only one that we pick for this class is this, because they have the largest market share. And to be honest, I love their interface. I love everything about AWS compared to the remaining two. Man, I try to learn GCP. GCP is cool. It's good. They have cool thing too. And Azure is just too much. Azure also have a lot of cool things, but it's not friendly to learn. But one thing I can tell you is that when you learn any one of them, you are as good as knowing the other, because they are all the same. What is different between them is just it's just terminology. For example, in AWS, if you are talking about server in AWS, that's what we're going to be calling instance. AWS call it instance. Or if you want to pronounce this fully, you say EC2. They call it EC2 instance. That is what they refer to as server. Azure, GCP, we call their own cloud, no, engine. Is it cloud engine or let me remember. It's not Harp engine. I know they call it one engine. I know this. I just forget. Azure called their own. I will look for it. Azure called their own VM. I think cloud VM. So it's just terminologies that is actually different, but the concept is exactly the same thing, and that is why we are going to be teaching concepts. What you need is the concept. If you understand the concept of cloud computing, there is no cloud computing that you cannot work with, because I think I remember now. This we call it App Engine. So if you understand any one of them, there is no other one that you cannot work with. So you only need to deal with the concepts. If you understand the concept very well, and that is concept I'm going to be teaching you. I'm not saying we're not going to do practical. We're going to do practical and you're going to be tired. I will link you to where you're going to see a lot of practicals. And we test some of them in the class as well. All right. So what is the benefit of cloud computing over the traditional data center? The first one is that cost. Remember, we said the first challenge that we have with the data center is the cost, the upfront cost. But now, if you are using IT services over the internet, you are not dealing with upfront costs, because guess what? You don't own the data center. You are only using a server in the data center. So it's not your responsibility to be paying for the warehouse. So that upfront cost is gone. You are not going to be incurring the upfront cost. The only cost you are going to be incur is what we call the operational cost, or we call it variable cost. And that is the cost that you pay for the server. And guess what? You only pay for the server when you use it. You are not paying for what you are not using. So that from upfront cost is gone. Then the scalability capacity. If remember the example that we gave earlier, myself and Don, that Don has a lot of server idle that he's not using, and I need 4 of them. So guess what? If tomorrow, if my service boom and I need more server, all I will just do is to get more servers from Don. And guess what? If Don do not have more server for me, I can go to another person and get more servers. So I can scale up. And guess what? If I'm not using that servers that I got from this person again, maybe I need the server because of festive period. Then now that the festive period has gone, guess what? I've just terminated all the server and I'll tell him I'm not using again. So I'm not paying for it. So I can scale up. I can scale up or scale down. Down the line, you're going to be learning what is called scalability, scaling up, scaling down, how to scale out and scaling. All those things, you're going to learn it later. They are very, very important concepts in the cloud. So also reduce maintenance. Before, we have to maintain the entire data center. But guess what now? We are not maintaining anything again. In fact, this server that you see here, this server that we are using from Don's data center, we are not actually using the server. We are not actually using the physical server. When we get in deeply, you will understand what we are actually using. So what I'm trying to say is that even this server, we are not going to be responsible for the maintenance because it's not our home. It's Don that will be responsible for maintaining the physical server itself. So that maintenance is gone. Now scalability, we find solutions to it. Cost, we find solutions to it. Now for the security and compliance, guess what? Our security will reduce because it's not our responsibility to secure the entire data center. No. The only thing that we need, we have responsibility to secure is our application that is running on the server and some parts of the server too. But I'm not going to go deeply into that. When we get into AWS fully, you're going to understand what we call this process of you. So now what we said, you are not responsible for securing the entire data center. Don, which is the owner of the data center, is going to be the one responsible for it. It's not my responsibility. Though I have some server here, but the data center is not mine. It is Don's own. So Don is going to be responsible for the security of the data center. I will be responsible for the security of my application that is running in Don's data center. So this concept of Don responsible for the data center and me responsible for my application that is running in the data center is what we refer to in IT or in cloud as shared responsibility. So, and this is another concept. All these concepts that I'm giving you, that shared responsibility, all these concepts that I'm giving you, please be writing them down because they always come out in interview questions. Shared responsibility. So now you can see this is not all. We're still going to discuss all of these benefits in detail when we get to AWS proper. All this one we are just still playing. These are just we are just touching the surface gradually. We have not go deep, right? So it's 5 o'clock. Oh, it's 5:05. So let's go for 5 minutes break. Let me clear the screen first. Let me see. So let's go for 5 minute break. When we come back, we now enter into AWS fully. Today's class is from 4 to 6. So we now have half of the class. So when we come back, we do the remaining half and we call it a day. Then we meet on Wednesday, which is 7 to 8. Wednesday is 7 to 8, right?
Okay. Is that CST time or EST?
Central.
Central.
Yeah. All right, let's go for 5 minute break. And when we come back, I'm stopping the video.